Hanukkah, and I think you all know without me even saying anything about it. So I gave a shiur tonight like every Thursday night, and I asked Rabbi Kiva, do you think I could still come after the shiur? And I'm happy to see a wall. So it's a big schus for me because we share so many precious moments ben Kollel beis Hamikdash. And I have so much simcha every time I come to the Kollel. So this Shabbos is my father's yortzeit. And goes without saying, when a parent's yortzeit approaches, you get into a certain mood and memories come back and you think about your parents. So when your great Roshi Kollel, Rabbi Kiva Reb Chaim, came to my Kollel, my father used to come to every shiur I gave in Kollel. And Rabbi Kiva came to the Kollel, and my father came to the shiur, and he was asking, and Rabbi Kiva turned to a younger man and he asked, who is this old man that's harassing the Rosh Kollel? Maybe we need to take care of it. Who's this old man that's harassing the Rosh Kollel? He asked. That old man was my father. And I would never be able to express in words how much it meant to me when my father used to come to the shiur and harass me. And he used to ask, and he was a gewaldiger Lamden. And it was always a challenge for me to balance Kibud Av. I had tremendous respect for my father. And my tafkid as a Marbitz Torah. I was always right. At least from my perspective. And he was always wrong. But it was a challenge, how my tafkid is to teach Torah. And all those young guys that were sitting in the Kollel expected me to teach them what to me is Amito Shel Torah. I can't tell my father, you're right. And it was quite a challenge, and I think I passed the test. And when I was sitting Shiva, so many people came, and this is what they remembered. So even now, I was in America, and somebody told me, I don't remember anything you said at the shiur, but this experience will always be with me, to see your father and son, and to me, to be able to be Makayim Kivedav in this way, I just can't. It was such a schus, I just can't even express it ever. So, this is a Mesibas Chanukah, and why do I mention my father's yortzeit? Because Hanukkah is all about the centrality and importance of Torah in Jewish life. So Matasur decides we're going to war. Why are we going to war? He not only took upon himself to fight the mighty Greeks. Greece was the greatest empire of the day, but he also need to struggle with the Hellenists, with the Misyavnim. And we have many sources, Sefer HaMakabi, Megillas Antiochus, in which we learn the Misyavnim, the Hellenists, were a very powerful force in the Jewish camp. And they argued, the Greeks are not here to kill us. We're not dealing with Haman. They're not even destroying the Beis Hamikdash. They are an enlightened people. And we could cooperate, we could negotiate, let's talk. I mean, why fight? And Matasura says, no, Shkicham Torah is an existential threat. We cannot live with even an ounce of L'Shkicham Torah. We can't live without Torah. And then the Hellenist argues, but how do you expect to win this war? Where's your army? How do you expect to fight the great Greek armies? Greece ruled Europe and most of the Middle East. And Matasura says, I don't know, but if we need to fight, I believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on our side. And when you have HaKadosh Baruch Hu on your side, you can't lose. Without HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can't possibly win. With HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can't possibly lose. So therefore, Matasura argued, Don't ask me how I expect to win. Do we need to fight or not? And we need to fight. Because their decree is to tear us away from Torah. Without Torah, we die. So my father first met my great Rebbe, the Kloisenberger Rebbe, the second day Shavuos 1944, Tovshin Dal. My father and his family arrived in Auschwitz the first day Shavuos. That very same day, grandparents, father, mother, 5 out of 8 siblings were sent right to the gas chambers and the crematoria that very same day. My father and his 2 younger brothers were sent left to life. The Kloisenberger Rebbe arrived 1 day later. That very same day, his wife, 10 children were sent to the gas chambers. He and his oldest son were sent left to life. His oldest son, his name was Lipa. He died 2 weeks after liberation from typhoid. He fell ill and he died, and the Kloisenberger was left alone in the world. And my father heard that the Kloisenberger Rebbe arrived. That was 1 day after my father arrived, and he's in the next barracks near where my father was staying. My father sneaked out in the middle of the night, and he approached the Rebbe, and he told him, it'll mean so much to me. It'll be such a schus if I could get to be close to you. And the Rebbe frowned down on him, and he said, Bucher, the mindset that up is helfen, said the Gunish helfen. Did anybody? Whoever understood what he said, pick up your hand. So the Rebbe said, if you think it's going to do you any good, it's not going to do you any good to be close to me. And my father responded, of course it's going to do me good because we could talk and learning. And then he was surprised, and he said, Bucher, you're at Auschwitz and you want to talk and learning? And my father said, of course, because otherwise, how will we prevail? How will we survive? And the Rebbe was moved, and he gave him a big hug, and they talked and learning for the next 12 months, till the liberation. And they talked and learning for the next 45 years, till the end of the Kloisenberger Rebbe's days. And whenever I tell this story, Sheli Ilui Nishmosai, I say what my father felt as an 18-year-old yeshiva boy instinctively is exactly what Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai felt 2,000 years ago. So on the days of the Churban, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai finally gets an audience with the Roman commander, with Vespasian, Aspasianus Caesar. And miraculously, the Roman commander seems to like this Jewish scholar, and he tells them, I just was notified, I'm going back to Rome, make a wish, and it will be granted. What's the first thing he asks for? Ten li yavne v'chachameh. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's peers were unhappy. You should have asked for the Beis HaMikdash. What's wrong with you? He knows Beruach HaKodesh that the Beis HaMikdash is doomed, and it will not be. He also knows that the only guarantee for the future of our people is Yavne v'Chachameh. If we have Yavne v'Chachameh, we live. We have a future. We will make it. Without Yavne v'Chachameh, we'll wither away. We have no future. And that is the wisdom and the Chochmah of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai when he makes that fateful bakosha and he asks for Yavne v'Chachameh. And in their schus, we're here, we're still around. And that's what my father felt in his heart when he said, if we don't talk and learning, how will we make it? And that's what we've been doing for 1,000 years. So many times I say, let's try to imagine we go back 300 years. If a Jew from Yemen, from Teiman, meets a Jew from Amsterdam. A Chosed from Varsha meets a Yeker from Brazil. What could they do together? They don't share a common language. They wouldn't understand one another. Different manners, different culture. They couldn't eat together because chuk doesn't go with gefilte fish. About 8 months ago, I visited a kitchen, an amazing kitchen. A Satmar HaChosed put up a kitchen in Rehov Sorotskin, and that kitchen supplied 1,000 meals every Erev Shabbos for Armonis and Yisrael. When this war broke out, Unbelievable. The Satmar Chassid, a Teitelbaum, his name is the same as the Satmar Rebbe, felt he wants to do something for all these soldiers. He and the Yazdi family from Ramat Galan, a totally non-from family, but they had a son in one of these special units in Maglan. And this lady, you can never really overestimate the Yiddish hearts. Yiddish hearts, none from people, but she felt she wants to do a mitzvah in the merit of her son, who was in great danger in a special unit. And she decided to do something to supply food for soldiers, and they got together. This Satmar guy invested millions of dollars, and that kitchen sent out 16,000 meals every Thursday night. 8,000 meals Shabbos morning, 8,000 Friday night meals. And I visited this kitchen, and they wanted to do something for me, and they gave me jachanun. The first time in my life I ate jachanun. I asked, with what do you eat this? Does this go with ice cream? I mean, what is this? What is it? When do you eat jachanun? They told me put it into the chot, and it would be great. It wasn't that great. So, what could they do together? They couldn't eat together because the first time the chassid would dip his hand into a bowl of arbis, into his mouth and back his hand into the bowl, the yekker would run out of the room. So what could they share? The siddur of one would be totally unfamiliar to another. They couldn't daven together. The only thing they could do together is talk and learning. And talk and learning they did. And that's what we shared for hundreds of years. So the Mishnah was composed in Eretz Yisrael. The Gemara in Babel, 1,000 miles away. The Rambam wrote this Perish in Spain. And the B'si Yosef concludes the Shulchan Aruch in Svas. And who becomes the B'si Yosef's partner? The Ramon Krakow, 1,000 miles away. So the only thing we shared in Golos was we talked on learning, and that's what kept us going. And that's what we do. And that's the way we live. And that's what we plan to do in the little time we still have left out of being Goyim. And that's what Hanukkah is all about. Matthew says, Lashkicham Terasecho is a death sentence. This is something we can never compromise with. And we don't have anything to negotiate. It's not negotiable. We can't live with Lashkicham Terasecho, and we need to fight. And if we need to fight, we'll have Siyata D'Shmaya. So Hanukkah is a time in which we need to once again appreciate what it is to learn Torah. So there's the famous story of the fox and the fish. And I say this many times, probably most of you heard it from me more than once. But there are things it's always kedai to do chazara. So Rabbi Akiva explains to Papas Ben Yehuda, we're afraid, it's a terrible gzeira, but we need to learn Torah, because if we don't learn Torah, we don't survive. We're like fish that left the water. And the fox tells the fish, and the fish say, Rabbi Akiva says, if we stop learning, we're like fish that left the water. Fish can't live without water. But we've known this story since we were little kids, and that's why you never think about what you're saying. What is this that the fox says, would you care to explain when was that? When? Where? What are you talking about? If I would be a fish in that pond, I would say, because it never was. What are you talking about? What's this nonsense? And I say, that's part of Moshe. And we hear this argument every day, in every generation, different words, different versions. And people always ask, why are you strange? Why are you different than anyone? You need to learn and learn, you never stop learning. Many times modern Orthodox parents in America, wonderful people that I love and they love me, great guys. And they ask me, when will my son finish his studies? When is he getting the diploma and he's going to start doing something real in life? So when is he going to finish his studies and start working? And I say, when will he finish his studies? We all hope that he'll have a very long and productive life. When the day comes that he will need to give his neshama back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it is then that he will finish his studies. So, that's when he's going to finish his studies. When time will come, we all finish our studies down here, and we all hope very soon to resume them up there. So this is the argument. You're so different. Be like we once were. We never were different. This is the way we live. We are water animals, and we tell the facts. You're a great guy. You're a land animal. We're different. We're water animals. So don't try to teach us how to live. Let's see you live down here. Try it. Try it. You're such a wise guy. You stay up there, and don't try to teach us how to live. We are water animals. This is where we were born. This is the way we live. This is the oxygen we breathe. So that's part of Rebbe Akiva's mashal. And that's the story of Hanukkah. Matesior goes to war, an unwinnable war. But if you have a Kodesh Baruch on your side, you can't lose. So Matesior says, the question is not how we win. The question is, do we have another option? And he says, we have no other option. Because Torah is our life. So on the day of Hanukkah, you need to just think and thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we have the schus to dedicate our lives to learn and to teach and להשתשב בדברי תורה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומנו ולילה. So I need to thank all these wonderful Avreichim because you make me smarter than I am. And whenever I give a shiur Kollel, I not only teach, I learn a lot from your ha'oros and your ha'sofis. And recently I took one of you away. And Osher Verona started sitting in my Kollel. And who's that young man that's harassing the Rosh Hashiva? So, Baruch Hashem, I brought it to all of you, B'ikr, to the Rosh Kollel that are sitting on my right and on my left. We should have nachas from all our precious Talmidim, from our gewaldige Talmidim, and each and every one of you. Should be oila mala and have nachas from your children, from your families, and I thank the Noshim Tzedkoniers that are sitting on the other side of the Mechitza for their devotion and dedication. And young women in our day and age carry a very big burden. I mentioned my father. I started the dasha with my father. My father also had a great sense of humor, and he liked Agita Vertel. So my father had a very original pshat, and Ishokita Zliya V'yol Zocha. And my father said, Ishokita Zliya, if we expect a woman to plow and to sow and to be oisik in Zliya and Cherisha, V'yol Zocha, let the man have the kids. He said, it's not fair. Ishokita Zliya. He says, if Ishokita Zliya V'yol Zocha. Let's see, you have the babies. If I need to bring parnasa, that's my father's available. So he liked the good variable. So we need to appreciate the noshim tzedkonius of our days that have kids and raise kids and provide for the families and really live with the conviction that it's a schus that my husband is sitting and learning day and night. And he's going to be a Baal B'Torah, and he's going to be a Ma'avis Torah B'Yisrael, and they deserve a special Yasher Koyach. So we should all be Zoich Al HaHayil Torah L'Adira. בשמחה, בשלווה, בנחס ולהשתשע בדברי תורה. אז ישק החכם, נשאר עליו על הסתר חנוכה, and we should be zecher b'korov yameinu to see the Kohen Gadol Meitel v'umadlik hazaneros b'menor samora. We should be zecher to see binyan beis hamikdash b'meiru v'yameinu amen.